Well, folks, thanks for being with us. I'm Luke Clayton and Mr. Jeff Rice today. Jeff, we're in my old stomping grounds
yes,
today.
Yes, we are. Red River County.
Yep, we're up in the northwest part of Red River County, Jeff. I was raised as the duck flies about 6 miles from here, right? Up off Highway 37. Folks, we're at the Rio Rojo Rancho.
We are.
Yep.
We are. Beautiful place, by the way.
It is. It's beautiful. Good friend of mine, Mike Ford, and his wife Lori own the Rio Rojo. And Jeff and I are up here doing a little scouting for bow season.
Absolutely.
But we have a plan.
We do. There are some axis deer running around. We've spotted some, and we're going to see if we can either spot and stalk or set up in a blind. Just going to have some fun. Going to go
It's going to be fun.
We've got a new little piece of equipment here that we're going to talk about in a second. But
show you this in a bit. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're going to go, like I said, we're going to spot and stalk a little bit. We're going to maybe sit a little bit. But from what I understand, there's some mighty big whitetails around here.
There are some big whitetails. Mike Ford was a deer breeder a long time, and this is native Red River County deer that were in here, but he's introduced some big genetics. There's some big old deer, and I hope we get some on film. Of course, we're not deer hunting. We're kind of pre-scouting for bow season. And with the option of, if we have opportunity, to take an axis. I have seen 2 axes coming in that one was a monster, big body deer, yes. So this is a new bow that I'll be hunting with. I've got it all sighted in. You've heard me probably talking about it. It's called a Gearhead archery, but this is a B30, 30 inches axle to axle, Jeff, and, which is not too uncommon, but Gearhead makes a bow that is 24 inches axle to axle. Now, I've never used one. I've never shot it, the short bow, but I can see it's backpackable for backup hunting elk or so up in the mountains, which I've done a bunch of. I can see the use, but this one right here is a smooth shooter, Jeff. And folks, you can go online to gearheadarchery.com and check these out. But if you look, it's got let me point this, it's got a shoot through riser, where usually you're shooting off to one side or the other. Shoot through riser, how about that? Really smooth. Well, what do you say we go get Mike Ford? I think we can catch him up at the camp house.
Okay, yeah.
And get Mike, and let's let him show you some of the ranch. This is your first time here, of course.
Yeah, I started out looking just in the ranch, in the lodge, so to speak. And I saw lots of nice deer. Of course, they were all on the wall.
That's right. Yeah,
and boy, he had some impressive racks.
This guy's was drooling. Well, bow season's just ahead.
It is.
So that's what we're doing, trying a little scouting, and I know what we're going to find. We're going to find a lot of deer. But it is still summertime up here in northeast Texas, and these deer are moving late. Yesterday evening, Mike said they were all out and about, but I think we, let the sun go down a little bit, get out there and get with it.
Absolutely. We're less than 30 days from archery opener, and so we're just out gonna scout around a little bit. We're gonna have some fun.
We always have fun.
We're gonna take a little commercial break here. We'll be back with Mike, introduce you to Mike Ford, and kind of show us around the ranch a little bit. And stay tuned. We're gonna have a little bit of fun out here at Rio Rojo Rancho,
as in Red River Ranch.
Is that what it is? RRR, huh?
Rio Rojo. Yeah. Folks, stay with us. We'll be back in just a little bit.
All right.
Lone Star Pawn and Bargain Center, 6509 I-30 on the Frontage Road in Greenville. Your one-stop shop for TVs, electronics, computers, and gaming systems. Lone Star Pawn offers a giant selection of hunting, fishing, outdoor gear, and firearms. We've got everything from lawn and garden equipment and job site tools to musical instruments. For the best deals in pawn race in town, come see us on the south side of the Frontage Road in Greenville.
Need a part for the right price? Look for that red and blue sign, Henley Auto Supply, 1510 Stonewall. Over 800,000 CarQuest parts to choose from. Domestic, European, and Asian parts. Henley Auto Supply, 903-455-1969. 455-1969. Henley Auto Supply has the right part to keep your vehicle running. Backed by the best hometown service. Henley Auto Supply. Great people, great products, great prices. Henley Auto Supply and CarQuest.
Well, folks, we are down here at the Rio Rojo Rancho. My buddy Mike Ford. A lot of you know Mike, SMU quarterback for the NFL. Jeff, everybody knows Jeff that watches us every week. We're having a good time, Mike.
It's a little hot to be axis hunting and scouting for deer, Luke, but you guys are tougher than a box of rusty nails, and we said let's go, so let's go.
We're on it. So we are scouting. We've seen some awesome whitetail, which did not surprise me. I was here when you opened, Mike.
We've been in a long-term progress to where we just processed, literally, where we transformed our ranch from native East Texas deer to having some phenomenal whitetails.
You did.
The high fence on a small place is the only thing you can do to really manage a place. I truly believe in it on a small property. It's the #1 management tool for me.
So real quick, Mike, just give us a little bit about the geographics of the ranch. Where I understand you're close to the Red River.
We're 5 miles south of the Red River. We're 2 hours, 125 miles from downtown Dallas, northeast. Very near Paris, Texas, if people know northeast Texas.
Very good.
My family landed on the Red River in the 1860s. 100 acres of our place. Matter of fact, the woods right here behind us right now has been in my family since 1880. And makes it pretty unique to think what my great-grandfather's thinking about what I'm doing on this place today as opposed to what they were doing on it 100 years ago. They were shooting the deer because they were eating the corn and the soybeans. I'm paying the local farmers raising corn and soybeans to bale me some soybean hay to feed the deer.
Exactly.
So we've done a 360 on the personal family ranch, from a farm ranching small cattle but mainly farm program of years ago to a wildlife sanctuary ranch that we get to have families and guys that haven't been able to experience a real good hunt, ladies that's never been able to shoot a good deer hunting with her husband somewhere, or the kids that's never shot their first deer. That's the group that we target, if you may.
Sure.
We want somebody that doesn't get to have this privilege every day to come and experience it at least one time in their life.
That's a wonderful thing. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Prefer Wildlife Equipment.
Years ago, I'm from Mesquite, Texas. As we were talking at breakfast, went to high school with an old boy named Donnie Gay. He was a pretty good bull rider back when. And I've been going to the National Finals Rodeo out in Vegas for many years. And one year, the good Lord had the deer gods lined up, the deer god from above and the deer gods of the whitetails here on earth. And I met Eddie Prefert, the president of Prefert Manufacturing in Mount Pleasant, Texas, and invited him to my ranch to hunt and bring his kids. And one thing led to another. They come and seen what we did and eventually designed and developed some handling equipment, not only for whitetails, but literally for the zoo veterinarians and animal science schools from Kansas State, South Dakota State, Texas A&M, research on wild animals, not just whitetails. Literally every wild animal that we have, we've developed equipment they use. Over the years, I asked Eddie one day, I said, Eddie, we need to build a feeder. And he said, everybody builds a feeder, Mike. And I said, if somebody built a feeder that made me happy, I wouldn't be talking to you about it.
Right.
And that's what we come up with back here. And hopefully we get to talk about
that here. Well, let's do that. Let's take a quick commercial break, folks. Okay. And we're going to come back. Mike's going to show us this feeder. It's sensational. I tell you what, I took one look at this thing. Mike kind of showed us how it worked, and we're going to show you folks how it works. And we'll be right back after this commercial, and let's take a peek at this feeder.
Well, Mike, you know, buddy, I've been coming up here since you opened.
Yes, sir.
And I remember the first feeder of this type that you had. This is the cutting edge, in my opinion. Show us how it works, Mike.
Well, lots of ideas. Something as a ranch manager we're always dealing with is varmints we don't want to feed. The weather, we don't want the wet feed to get wet. The animals won't eat it. Stinks the feeder up. Pain in the you-know-what to clean out. So in working with the family over at Prefert, Eddie Prefert in particular, we come up with some ideas. I'm kind of the testing group for him. I've given him some ideas and thoughts. They've got an incredible research and development team and engineers. We come up with a trough feeder. We can feed corn out of it or protein. It controls both. If we can open and close the trough on when we want to feed. We don't feed deer at night. We condition them literally that the cafe's open during the day, so they come from daylight to dark. We close the trough at night and don't let the coons and the varmints wreak havoc on our feed, and run the deer off at night. So we control the varmints by not having the trough open at night. And if it starts to rain in northeast Texas, which we get 60, 70, 80 inches of rain. One year I've had 95 inches of rain here. If it starts to rain, that trough closes. I don't clean wet feed out no more. How about you?
Boy, that's awesome.
And if the brain says the trough is supposed to be open, The sensor will dry out, the trough will re-engage and open back up, so you're using literally minutes of time that you're not feeding.
So I'm guessing, Mike, that box behind you there has got to be some sort of control mechanism. Can you kind of show us what that's all about?
It's a control mechanism. It's got a battery inside it. It lets you program the trough. Something we've added is a new feature. We can divide this feeder into half, have corn in one, protein in one. We can feed corn at hunting times of early and late, morning and evening. So ask your local dealers, you know who they are, for Preferred Wildlife Equipment. If you're a big ranch, you want to deal direct with me, call Mike Ford. I'm sure you can find me if you get busy and look me up. Preferred Wildlife Equipment. They build the best farm, ranch, and rodeo equipment in the world. Now they're in the wildlife business. Imagine what they're going to do for all of us. Thank you for your time.
Now that's close. Well, folks, we just did a little spot and stalk there. You saw a little cow elk, two cow elk. We have two cow elk, and it was amazing. I was able to get up on those guys. I mean, I could have thrown them a spear at one of them. That was pretty cool.
I was watching from about 100 yards with binoculars. You were right on top of those elk.
Oh, we were.
Yeah.
That was crazy. So we're going to head back to the ranch now. We're going to go get Mike, and we're going to check things out. So stick with us. We'll be back in a moment.
Your first set of wheels didn't come with hassles. It can be that way again at Tire Pros.
You got it loaded?
Oh, yeah. There's too much brush.
That.
Look at all of them.
All of them's bucks, too.
Yeah, looks like one or two. Well, folks, we're back. We just put the sneak on deer. We were just kind of checking them out. That was a big dude.
Big buck, big old buck.
There was several of them in there. But we're looking for axes. We can't kill any whitetails. We're sure checking them out. So we're gonna continue on our journey here and see what else we can find. So we're just kind of riding around, seeing what we can come up with. So ready to head on?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
I heard some axes roaring back south of us.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we'll get back
Let's go check them out.
Okay.
All right.
Right here is a real fresh, what I call velvet rub, probably a whitetail in velvet. Rubbed here fairly recently, within the last couple of weeks, but all the bucks we found down here on the Rio Rojo are now in hard horn. So that's not a breeding rub where the bucks are fighting the trees like they'll do later, but we call it a velvet rub. He's actually marked it up to right about here, but whitetail season is coming soon. Here's a good sign of it.
That's one dandy buck. That's what John's back in the woods are really the good ones, you know. Look at that.
Look at the kicker on that one. Holy smokes. Well, folks, we're about to depart from the Rio Rojo Rancho. And just a little last minute video of some bucks. Some mighty fine bucks. Unbelievable. Been a good time, huh, buddy?
Oh, I tell you what, I'll jump in here with you while we're watching these deer. Folks, I'm going to tell you what, if you want to have a good deer hunt, these axis deer, they stayed in the brush on us, but there are a ton. We saw some good axis deer, but we did not get any, we weren't able to get any real good axis footage, were we, Jeff, just because of where they were, you know?
Yep, they avoided us this go around, but whitetails have given us a show, a good show.
And folks, the truth is, bow season is just around the corner. So, I don't want this to sound like a commercial, but this big old boy right here walking up toward us, he's here waiting on you, right, Jeff?
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're out of the blind. We're going to take a walk back to camp and depart. So
it's hard to leave these deer.
They're so cool, aren't they? So pretty.
But we've got it captured on film for all of our buddies to watch.
Yep.
And that old big boy back there. Look at that. Look at that.
Eat your heart out, folks. You deer hunters. You'll be like, oh my gosh.
It's coming. It's coming, boys. So and girls. So be ready. Hi folks, it's your old buddy Luke Clayton, and what do you say we devote this little segment to a little outdoor cooking? You might look behind me, see these deer horns and some of my stuff here. This is my little hunting cabin where I do a lot of my outdoor cooking. Gusado, how many of you enjoy gusado, or how many of you have actually made gusado? Well, gusado really is nothing more than a Mexican, thick, spicy Mexican soup. You can cook it down to a consistency where you actually put it on flour or corn tortillas and eat it kind of like a burrito or whatever. But I absolutely love gusado, and it's really simple to make. It maybe sounds a little complicated, but wild pork is one of my favorite meats to make gusado with. And I've got a bunch, probably 1.5 pounds of chopped, just cut up in little cubes, pieces of wild pork ham. I've, deveined everything. I mean, there's no sinew or anything. It's just pure lean pork. You can make it from domestic pork. I've known people even make gusado from chicken, but wild pork makes excellent gusado, but so does venison also. Hatch chili peppers are in season right now, and you can get them canned, year round, but I love Hatch chili peppers. So we're going to use my old cast iron skillet that you've seen me put to use a lot of times on our shows. Going to use it with a lid and about 1.5 pounds of cubed up pork, about 6 of the good sized chili peppers. They're going to be about that long. I'll show you all the ingredients that's chopped up. But what we're going to do is put the meat in the skillet first and brown it with some garlic and onion. You don't have to worry about trying to get the meat tender because that's what the lid and the moisture is going to do. So let's go ahead and break our skillet out, our cook stove, put the meat in it in the old skillet there, and let me show you the ingredients. I'll probably back away from the rest of this video because I'm kind of self-filming out here today. And but I'm going to show you the process of it being cooked, and then at the end we're going to show you some of the finished gusado, maybe on a corn tortilla. How about that? Okay, folks, we have our diced up pork, or actually this is kind of chunked up pork. That's pork backstrap from the wild hog there. And I've got our vegetables. They're already chopped. You know how to chop vegetables, so you don't need to watch me do that. Let's put the Anaheim or the Hatch chili peppers. I actually have one Anaheim in here with these Hatch peppers. So right here we've got, you can see it pretty well. That is the Hatch chili peppers with onion. And I've got about 5 cloves of garlic chopped up. You probably won't be able to see those in this. But we're gonna saute this, let it cook down until the vegetables are soft, and then we're gonna add some cumin. I've already put salt in it. We're gonna add some diced tomatoes. Now, if you have fresh tomatoes, that's even better. But let's let this cook down just a little bit, and then we will add our tomatoes and cumin and get it seasoned up, and then we'll be ready to put a lid on it and let it slow cook for about 45 minutes. Okay, folks, we have our peppers and onions and garlic and wild pork loin all sauteed down a little bit. We could cook it a little bit more, but I don't think we will. We're going to cook it long enough as is with the lid on it. But these peppers are just now soft, and the meat is done, but it is far, far from tender. Now, this cumin, what would any Mexican type dish or New Mexico dish be without cumin? Let's put the cumin to it here. A little more. I'd say probably about 3 tablespoons of cumin, give or take, as most of my cooking is, give or take. I've already salted this, and you savvy salt. You can put as much salt or as little as you like. I tested one of these Hatch chilies, folks. They are awesome, like Hatch chilies always are. I think I've got one poblano, and to be honest with you, I couldn't tell you which one is the poblano chopped up, but I don't think we'll be able to tell when we eat this either. Now we need tomatoes. I've just got some of this diced tomatoes. You can use tomatoes out of your garden, any kind of tomatoes that you've got. These were what were on sale at Brookshire's, and actually I bought them at the Super One, my favorite store. And so really, now it gets really simple. This is the beginning of guisado. Now this meat will cook down to where it'll be almost a paste when we get through cooking it with the lid on it. So let's put the lid on this right here. Old heavy-duty cast iron lid. And let's let this cook for about an hour. I'll check it one time to make sure we have moisture. And then we'll put this on a tortilla or two and let you see it. I wish everyone could be here to help me eat this because I've done it before. You cannot go wrong with these Hatch chilies, folks. Well, folks, what do you say we pop the top on this old cast iron skillet here? And let's take a look at our guisado. Now, while you weren't watching, I just could not stand it. I put a little celery and a little carrot. You'll see the carrot in there. Chop that up real fine. And I tested it, the flavor, and it was not quite spicy enough for me. So I went out in the garden and picked a couple of mild jalapeno peppers, diced them up in there. They've been in there for probably 30 minutes. But this is our guisado right here. We're going to serve this up in a bowl and take a look at it and see what you think about it, folks. It's going to be, I've already sampled it. I think you're going to enjoy a dish like this yourself at camp or even at home next time you're looking for a good, easy meal to fix. Well, folks, here is our finished product, some good old guisado. Of course, we've got to have a couple of corn tortillas with it here. I actually just sometimes break those up in it. But look at all the tasty morsels in this wild pork guisado. I wish you were a little closer. I'd pour you up a bowl of this, spoon you up a bowl, and we'd sit down here and enjoy this. But this is it. You can do this at home really, really easy. Just kind of follow the basic instructions and then season it to your liking. Well, folks, we have had an absolute ball up here with Mike Ford and the Rio Rojo Rancho. Jeff and I found a bunch of deer sign. The old season is just around the corner.
Yes,
How about that rub? I call that a velvet rub,
yes,
where the bucks have been scraping their velvet, rubbing their velvet. Mike Ford has got an awesome place, folks, to hunt axis deer. You don't have to go to the hill country if you're up in northeast Texas or central Texas. We saw some good bucks now. We didn't take one, but that's okay. We actually accomplished our goal. We saw plenty.
we did. We saw some absolutely gorgeous whitetail deer. Of course, whitetail deer season, archery opens up in about 2-3 weeks.
Yep, it's coming.
It's coming here quick. So we're all gearing up. So we just had, we made a day of it. We went out and we scouted a little bit and looked for some whitetails, and we saw some axis.
We did.
Never got a crack at
Saw
one.
them in some really, really thick cover. There's some of these pine plantations and all. The axis were doing what Jeff and I should have been doing midday. They were up on some high ground where they could get a little breeze in the shade. But on a one-day bow hunt, I mean, it would have been nice if we shot an axis, but we'll come back and we'll get one.
Absolutely. It's just fun sometimes just to get out and just see nature. I mean, look at this. It's absolutely gorgeous. We've had a great time. Good friend, met new friends to me.
Yeah, Mike Ford and
Mike
Lori.
and Lori, just wonderful people.
Awesome people.
Oh yeah.
And they, folks, you can go online to Rio Rojo Red River, Rio Rojo Rancho, RANCHO.com, and check out Mike's Ranch. You've got an awesome place. I know we'd be happy to show anybody around and come up and look at it. Plan you a deer hunt, or the thing he's wanting to really get the word out. He's got a lot of good axis bucks right now, and needs some people to hunt them. So that's a big plus. And Jeff, I always like to tell them about the radio show. Mention
absolutely.
that there's a banner down catfishradio.org, on our shows, but check that out. It's a lot of fun. We do that it's on a bunch of radio stations, but you can click anytime, catfishradio.org, and listen to one of the segments, can't you?
Absolutely. A lot of good information. Luke and I do get out and we fish Canada. We go to some pretty exciting places.
A lot of fun.
We leave a lot of information out there on catfishradio.org for you all to check out. So, maybe you're looking for a trip to Canada for some walleye fishing, or maybe you want to do some axis deer hunting here in, right here in northeast Texas. Absolutely gorgeous place. So, a lot of good information put out there on catfishradio.org. I know because I put it there. And you can buy Luke's book, Kill to Grill, from right from the website. And
that's true. That's true. Got a new updated chapters in Kill to Grill. Yep. So, and several people this past week have purchased my book, Kill to Grill, right off the website.
Very good.
I'll ship. Yeah. I will personally ship that book out to you.
You might even sign for it if you want.
Oh, I could be. Folks, thank you for tuning in, and we appreciate you very much. Next week, we're not real sure what we're gonna be doing, but whatever it is going to be fun.
I know you've got some recipes you're kind of been laying out there. I think you're going to be throwing out some.
Might have to share some cooking,
some pasado, some things I kind of saw you
yes.
lining up there.
Yes.
So we do it. We'll have more hunts for you coming up. We'll have some great cooking, and again, we want to thank our viewers for your loyalty in watching us, and your liking and sharing us on Friendly News, and again, we thank you. We really enjoy doing this stuff, putting this stuff out there for you. And from Luke and myself, we want to thank you guys for joining us again this week for another exciting adventure, buddy. Right?
Tune in next week, folks. We are going to have some more fun.
You bet.